The power of being lies in its simplicity. Let me just relax and center myself in the awareness that I am pure light existing within the physical dimension. Let me imagine that I am like a beautiful sparkling star, suspended in an enormous realm of matter. I am weightless. I am light. I am peace. And I relax and settle into this peace. And I find that that peace of mind begins to soothe even the muscles of this body. Sometimes I stay so focused in the world of doing that I forget the power of just being. This simple exercise of just sensing the soul within and creating that awareness that I am light and that I am peace. This exercise has the power to make me feel more creative, more clear about solutions, more colorful, more alive, and yet it's so simple. All I have to do is make time each day to enter into that beautiful dimension of spiritual awareness. All I have to do is rest in peace and simply exist like the trees exist, like the clouds exist. Let me practice the art of being, and I will find inside that there are beautiful qualities: love, joy, wisdom. And when I dive deeply into these qualities, I begin to experience them so naturally that it's easy to carry them into the world of action, into sound, into movement, into my responsibilities. This simple practice of being brings beautiful colors to my daily life.
Hello and welcome to all our viewers to yet another wonderful talk series, Reflections, Stories to Recharge and Rejuvenate. And I would also like to wish everyone a very happy Diwali, the festival of lights that was celebrated last week, the festival which says or spreads the message of being a light and spreading light throughout the world. I am very happy to invite Christine Donahue, who's going to share her story with us today. Welcome, Christine. Christine has been practicing Raj Yoga meditation since 1986. She's originally from Australia and has lived in various meditation centers around Australia. Christine is a really creative person as I know her. She has run various creative workshops, and it has been really wonderful to see that the art, how the art brings out deep insights from within, just by simple experiences or simple practices, but the deep insight that comes from within is very beautiful to see. And today we are going to share, or we are going to hear about a story that Christine is going to share about a tour and when she was a guest artist and what happened on that tour. What did she learn? What did she see? So looking forward to hear your experiences, Christine. A very, very warm welcome, and over to you.
Well, thank you very much, Rasha, for that beautiful welcome, and happy Diwali, and happy Diwali to everyone who's joining us today. So yeah, that's a festival of lights and of sharing the lights and of igniting the light of others. And I do find that's what happens when we share joy, and art is one of the ways that we do that. So yeah, as Lata mentioned, I'm going to tell a story about a tour that I did as a guest artist, but that was actually in 2015, so some years ago now, but and it took a long time to sort of get to that point. But growing up, I was exposed a lot to art and craft through my family, my grandmother, and so forth. So I consider that I was very lucky that I was able to make lots of things, and I really enjoyed that. Doing sewing and patchwork, and my grandmother used to do some work for St Vincent de Paul, and she used to get all the broken dolls from that were donated or thrown away, and she had all the pieces in a shed, in a big box in her back shed. And when I visited her for school holidays as a child, me and my sister and brother, we would go out there, and I'd put them all together, because in those days there used to be ones where the arms and legs were interchangeable and so forth, and make them whole, and then make little clothes for them, and they would become Christmas gifts that St Vincent's would give out to families for their children. So that was a really lovely way to share through art and craft and creativity. And as well as that, it kept, Grandma kept us busy, while we were there on holidays. So, lots of fun things that I did when I was growing up, I really enjoyed. And so how this tour came about, a little bit of background, it was focused on a paper craft called quilling, and I hadn't heard of it until a little while before that, a few years before I actually sort of took it up and did the tour. But that was as a part of a program for making cards for an International Women's Day program with the local council. And I just sort of came across it, and then just became really involved with it and enjoyed it a lot. And then so started making things and got involved with a local group, and then eventually, I can't remember how, I must have been, I entered some competitions in the Royal Easter Show and other shows and won some prizes. So I guess my name was seen there somewhere. But one day in my inbox, there was an invitation to be a guest artist at the Stitches and Craft Show, which was one of the fairs that goes around, and they'll be starting up again soon. Yes, some of those exhibitions. So that was sort of a bit of a exciting surprise, but Quinn's things are very small, and I was wondering how am I going to fill out a whole stall, because they said you've got 6 meters by 3 meters to fill in, and I made a few greeting cards and a few wall hangings. So, but it was just such an exciting opportunity to be a part of. So I just said, oh yes, and someone said, I think you're being a bit ambitious. But then I thought, oh well, maybe, but why not? So I just want to share a couple of little images of that. The first one is like an advertising poster that the company made, just to show you the sort of thing I'm talking about. So I'll just try and share that slide with you and see if I can bring that up. So this one is showing about what quilling is. So there, I hope you can see it was Discover Quilling with Christine Johnson. So this is how I was advertised. And I'm not a professional artist, or I haven't done any formal training or anything like that. So this was a really out of the blue, or out of my usual life experience to be doing this sort of thing. So these were some of the creations that I'd made and learned from an expert. So part of it was that they asked me to do classes within the stall. So these fairs, they have they sell, most of them are selling things. They have all kinds of art and craft supplies. They do have workshops. They have a quilt exhibition, which is beautiful work. And they have 1 or 2 different guest artists of, whatever particular art is, the trend at the time. So quilling, this paper craft, had a bit of a resurgence at that time. And I don't know, maybe they asked a few people before me and no one was available, but I don't know. But anyway, there were 5 exhibitions, and so they were in Sydney, Brisbane, Adelaide, Newcastle and Melbourne. And there was another one in Rockhampton, but that was cancelled. So I said, oh yeah, I'll do them all. So then I had to design my stand, and I really wanted to make it be like an experiential kind of thing, not just a trestle table with a few things on it, but I wanted people to be able to come into a room and feel like they were doing it with me, and I wanted them to be like my lounge room, or I was inviting friends in, because sharing this, it was a very joyous thing, and it's a decorative art, but when you share beauty or decoration, I think for me it really brings out a sense of joy, and there's lots of colour and it's tactile, and you can make things. Once I did a little workshop with some children, which they made this little flower. You get strips of paper and you wind them up and make shapes and so forth. And this little boy, he said, "Oh, that's the most beautiful thing I've ever made," something like that, just spontaneously. I was like, "Oh, it was so sweet." And but people get so happy to be able to make something. So from little children to older people, although you need good eyes and good hand coordination. But yeah, it was really fun to do. And so I did the classes as well, and that's pretty intense, as well as having to design the stall. So I thought, how am I going to make this experience room? And so a friend gave me a 10 to 15 minute class on Photoshop. Literally, he said, "Look, I have to go, but this is what you do this and that, and see you later, send me the file and I'll print it." So I had to come up with some way to do that. So I also had to make it versatile, because being the guest artist, you kind of get whatever stall is left over from all the people that actually pay for their stall. So I was a guest, and they were, paid. So in every city, the stall had different configurations. So I had to arrive and then see what space I had and work out how to place everything. So that was really interesting. And I'll just share the second photo with you. So this one is actually the layout of the stand that I had in Adelaide. And so it shows these panels against the wall, which were like wallpaper. So I had them printed, and they were just paper, so I had to be very careful with them as well. And then I had the classes at the tables there. So I wanted it to be like people could see a few different things that I've made. And some of those were actually printed into the paper. So they were part of the wallpaper. So there was that kind of a display. And that's actually my sister who came to help me in Adelaide. And one thing that happened in this tour was that people that I knew, including my sister here, saw me in a different way because they hadn't seen me as this artist and this, doing this thing, but more as I've been a more practical person doing admin and whatnot. So that happened a lot actually in every place I went. People saw a different side of me, so that was really interesting. But it was amazing how cooperative everyone was and how happy everyone was to share in that with me. So one thing I really learned was, was about how nice it was to share with others. And so you can see, like, there's this big sign with my name on it, and that was about 2.5 meters long. And even having a big sign with my name on it was kind of it really took me out of my comfort zone and into a different space. So I really learned to just be comfortable with that too. And so, well, okay, this is also who I am. I had to sort of really budget, and the main way to cut down on expenses was to cut out accommodation. So I had to try and see who can I stay with, or how can I work that out. So people were so generous. I really I had to learn to reach out and ask people for help, or they were friends already. It wasn't like I was kind of people I didn't know, but rather than being more reserved, it also took me out of myself to say, oh, hey, is there anywhere I can stay? And people were incredibly helpful and generous. And at the same time, I had to accommodate, like, one place. They said, oh, yeah, you can stay here, but it's half an hour drive away. You have to be up at 5:30 a.m. and then you have to do this, and then you have to walk into town with your suitcase and then work all day, and then you have to get back at the end of the day. So I just had to say, well, okay, that's fine. And it was all fine. It was great. So it was all pluses, really. I didn't experience anything bad out of it, really. There was lots and lots of good learnings. And then just dealing with people and sharing with people, the public who came to all the fairs. And the stand was very successful and very popular. So that was great. And I really just loved talking with people about it. And, at one point I thought, how will I talk for 4 days about quilling? But it just went like that, and it was really fun. And, hindsight is always a great teacher as well. And if there's one thing I would have liked to do was just, relax and enjoy it more. And maybe I would have paid for a hotel here and there just to make it easier. But, on the other hand, it was a fantastic journey. And from Sydney to Adelaide and then through to Melbourne, I actually drove because I had all my gear. I had the whole exhibition rolled up and packed up in suitcases, and you have to be really good at packing too, so your freight costs are less. So I drove all around in a van, which also was generously loaned to me, I had a ladder because you could have all your own gear, and the ladder was really rickety, you know, so the ladder kept creaking. By the end of driving all around, I was talking to the ladder in the back of the car, you know, as it was rattling and I was driving along. But, you know, it was all fun, and I visited a couple of old friends along the way. So, yeah, it was a fantastic journey. So, yeah, I mean, lots of other things were going on in the background. I had to move house, so that was a big upheaval in the middle of it. But I wouldn't. I'm just glad I did it. So yeah, so that's a little story, and I'll hand you back to Laka.
That's wonderful, Christine. Thank you so very much. It's wonderful to know about how one tour, if I can say, I mean, a long tour, but how that changes our experiences. And the topic for today, which was learning through creative expression. So if I could ask, maybe if you want to just mention, say, one or two things about what about this tour did you learn, which you continued on your spiritual journey, like something new that you picked up as part of this tour internally?
Yeah, thanks, Lata. That's a great question. I have to make it short if I can only say two things. I would say one thing I learned about for myself in my interactions with people was really appreciating how much people were cooperative and generous and helpful and positive and supportive. So that and even the other stall holders there. So I made friends. Some of them were the same in each place. So that was one thing, and being really comfortable with myself in that role, which was something that I didn't normally do. So that was there, and also, like that. So I suppose that's one thing which is kind of more people related and about being comfortable with yourself and with others. And the other thing, just about the creativity itself, is that it's really a gift that it doesn't belong to a person. It's almost, if I could say, it belongs to itself, or we could say divine or something, but it's an energy that once you make something, it's really hard to say, but it has its own energy, and people will come and they will take whatever they will take from it. And one lady even said, she said, I've had your photo of your artwork on my phone as a screensaver for months. So she owned it. It doesn't belong to anyone anyway. And you look at famous paintings that have survived thousands of years, and people take whatever they take from them. So art is a really beautiful thing that people can take their own thing from. So yeah, I really learned to trust my own intuition when I'm creating something. That you've got to align with that energy in yourself and let it come out. Let the song speak, and let the artistic expression speak for itself, because it'll say what it wants to say if you let it.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful. Now, if I could also request you to lead us into some meditation, if that's okay.
So let's just rhythm of the music take us on a journey. life has a natural rhythm. An ebb and flow of events and thoughts and feelings. And as we go with that, let me flow with life to see what it is that it wants to reveal to me. Let me trust that rhythm. Trust that it's beneficial. It will help me it will keep me safe. It will lead me to the better version of myself. They allow my inner happiness and joy to flow with that energy. Trust that what I have to share is also valuable, as what others share is valuable. Others have their journey, I have my journey. Together, we move as one, along with that rhythm of life. And let's just keep our mind in peaceful, for the vibration of peace together. Thank you.
Thank you, Christine. That was wonderful. And thank you for sharing your story with us today and inspiring all of us. So it was wonderful to have you. And for our online viewers, would also like to mention that if you would like to know more about us, you could always visit our website, www.brahmakumaris.org.au. And we will see you again on 25th of November at the same time with another interesting story. Till then, stay happy, take care, Om Shanti.